Hello and welcome to Business Daily on Trust Television, and we are set to keep you up to the minute with updates from the world of business, finance, commerce, and the stock market is not left out. On this program, we're bringing you factual analysis on policies that relate to the world of business and also policies that come out for sectors across board as they affect the Nigerian economy. I am Christiana Amodu Otinya. Thank you for joining in on the program today. First, let's begin with the headlines. We begin from what's happening with the currencies. The redesigned Naira notes are playing a marginal role in triggering a gain for the local currency. And Nigeria has secured a $9 billion loan from the World Bank. We'll bring you more on those stories on the business roundup of the program. However, I'll take a short breather. When we come back, we go into the stock market. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's go straight into the stock market. Now we saw the Nigerian stock market shrugging off the concerns around inflation, talking about the inflation numbers released by the National Bureau of Statistics. Now the market is staying bullish, 0.50% there higher to settle at 49,233.02. On the activity chart, a total volume of 222.78 million shares valued at 2.13 billion naira changed hands in 2,756 deals on the floor of the local bourse. The equity cap, however, settled at 26.81 trillion naira. I recall speaking to the professor of capital market, and he said that the Nigerian stock market has continued to shrug off the concerns that have come up from inflation. Inflation has indeed been the name of the game for stock markets and economies around the world, with central bankers staying on their toes to rein in inflation. The U.S. Fed is saying, we are not holding our horses. We are going to continue on the rate hike trajectory, and we've seen how that affected markets that we'll get to shortly. Let's look at other markets in Africa. Talking about Africa's largest bourse, that's the JSE, Johannesburg Stock Exchange, 72,989. We're seeing a downward trend now, 1.76%. For Ghana also, we are seeing a marginal slowdown, 0.02% there, to settle at 2,459. Talking about what we are seeing from the Ghanaian bourse. Now let's go over to stocks in the United States. Stocks have been falling in the wake of the Federal Reserve's 50 basis point interest rate hike. So the arrows here in the United States is staying largely in the bearish territory. The Dow Jones Industrial Average shedding 2.25%. The S&P 500 shedding 2.49%. And the tech-heavy Nasdaq shedding as high as 3.23%, and this is because of the announcement we're seeing coming in from the U.S. Fed. Now, this is the highest rate we have seen around 15 years, and the central bank in the U.S. is saying it will continue to hike rates through 2023 to 5.1%, a larger figure than previously expected for the market has. This is why one of the reasons why we are seeing the bears having a play on Wall Street. Let's go over to Europe now. European markets open mixed as investors process the raft of central bank decisions announced on Thursday. Now we're seeing mostly in the red for Europe. The FTSE 100 in the UK down 0.20%. The CAC 40 is down 0.29%, and for the DAX in Germany is up marginally there at 0.02%. Now, the whole issue now for the market is generally what's happening with the central banks. Central banks in Europe on Thursday followed the Fed in slowing the pace of interest rate increase, but also offered a similar stark message that financial conditions will continue to tighten even as economic performance deteriorates around the world. In Asia-Pacific region, markets traded mostly lower as recession fears continue to grow, and the fears of a recession in the year 2023 is of course sending jitters to market. Nikkei 225 in Japan down 1.87%. The Shanghai Composite in China marginally closed down 0.02%, and South Korea's Kospi is down 0.04%. Let's go over now to the oil market. Oil prices are also staying largely lower at $80.89 per barrel, down 0.04%. Of course, what's happening, the decisions coming into the market is affecting all the sectors that we have seen play out. For gold prices were flat and set for a weekly loss, pressured by expectations of higher interest rate for a longer period by the U.S. Federal Reserve. Recall that gold, the bullion here, is seen as a hedge against inflation. So a lot is really happening with the announcement we saw coming from Jerome Powell and also Christine Lagarde of the Europe. A lot of things around what to expect as a new year is upon us, what to expect for rate hikes, what to expect for monetary policies around the world, and also the fears of a global recession is also part of the reasons why we are seeing these central bankers across the world take this stance. Let's go over to the crypto watch. Now, cryptocurrencies fell on Thursday after the announcement from the Fed, but we are seeing the markets gaining steam back. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin is at 17,483, that's up 0.48%, and Ethereum is up 0.88%. The Binance coin climbed 2.19%, $264 there. Those are the numbers we have for you on the program today. Let's quickly give you a roundup of business stories. Now, Thursday saw a strengthening of the naira against the dollar, trading at 745 naira to a dollar, as opposed to last week's closing rates of 750 naira to a dollar. The naira recovered as banks released fresh notes gradually in accordance with instructions from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, going to issues around borrowings, Nigeria borrowed $9 billion at extremely favorable terms from the World Bank in the previous 30 months. Shubham Chaudhry, the Nigeria country director for the World Bank, disclosed this information on Thursday in Abuja at the unveiling of the World Bank's Nigeria Development Update and Country Economic Memorandum. According to Shubham Chaudhry, the bank's goal in Nigeria is to assist the host country in eradicating poverty and improving living conditions in the country. And that's it for the business roundup. Our focal point on the program today will be, of course, the inflation figures we saw coming from the National Bureau of Statistics. My guest is already seated with me in the studio. However, let's hear what Nigerians have to say about the new Naira notes that have started coming into circulation. Take a listen to what they have to say.
The Naira redesign sparked heated discourse in several fora, with many debating its necessity. However, as the 15th December circulation date drew closer, the curiosity of many Nigerians escalated. With the date finally here, we asked FCT residents what they thought of the rollout and if they had finally seen the new notes.
If the policy they have thought out is going to be have a positive impact on the masses, then it's fine. But if it's not, I think it's just a waste of resources. Yeah, I've seen on social media, but for me, on social media, it's just like a replication of the Naira that is existing already.
What I was thinking the CBN should do is that the CBN should take out time to restabilize the Naira instead of redesigning the Naira. No, I've not. I've seen it online, and it's become even a thing of joke, because it's just like they just did a flipping and change some from colors and all that. You understand? So we're just thinking like it's the same thing. They just want to not redesign. They just shade it and the rest.
Every government policy is supposed to be good, and Nigerians are supposed to embrace and welcome it. For the new Naira notes, as a citizen of Nigeria, resident in, the territory of the president, I have not seen it with my own bare eyes yet.
Individuals weren't the only ones yet to have the new notes. Business owners, too, were yet to receive the notes via purchases from customers.
There is nothing bad with that, but they said the new Naira note was supposed to be displayed today, starting from today till further notice. So, but as for me, I've not received the new Naira notes because I don't know, maybe it's because I've not gone to the bank.
A lady came and was like, whether I don't have the new note yet. I said no. So she was now laughing, just joking.
But I've seen 1,000, the new 1,000 note today. We have seen it because we had a special order some of the money came in units. And we're hoping for more of the 200 and 500 today, tomorrow, because people that work here around their banks and all of that, they come in to buy in the morning and in the afternoon.
From the foregoing, Nigerians are still yet to have their curiosity doused as they still have not yet accessed the redesigned Naira denominations. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, a lot of Nigerians, they're reacting to the new notes. My guest is in the studio, Steve Wachuku, economic analyst. Now, some have said reshape, some have said redesign. I remember the governor of the central bank, when he was in Katsina, on a lighter note, he actually said repainted. Now, what Nigerians should focus on is how this will impact the economy. Let's have your thoughts on some of the respondents, what they have said concerning the circulation of the new notes.
Well, of course, the new redesigned Naira note have come to stay. It's within the purview of the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign and take out any denomination out of circulation and introduce whatever denomination they want. So it has come to stay. But the question is the availability of this new Naira note as Nigerians, based on your report. Well, for you to receive it, you have to go to the bank, either the bank or go to the ATM for dispensal. So for now, I have not had none of those reporters or none of those people commented that said, I went to the ATM, I couldn't have it. But I'm very sure that CBN is quite ready to introduce and make available this new Naira note for Nigerians.
Okay, so a lot of Nigerians, we have to stay optimistic indeed, and also it is important to state at this point that business owners have to also start accepting this new note, because I saw a video going viral on social media of some people making comments of they are not going to accept it. Acceptance has to also be taken into cognizance for businesses, especially if we want this note to go around and also have its impact on the economy. I would hold my horses here and take a short break. When we return, you get to hear more from Steve Wachuku, and this time around, he will be talking about issues around inflation. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for still staying there with us. If you're just joining the program, this is Business Daily coming to you live from Trust Television. My guest is still with me, and I rightly mentioned that we'll be looking at the inflation report that was released by the National Bureau of Statistics, talking about inflation rate hitting as high as 21.47%. Now, Steve, I know you predicted this the last time you were on the program, and you actually said that we're going to see the upward trajectory continue for inflation. Tell me about your thoughts on the new report.
Of course, that's the reality. Like I just said, the inflationary factors that could either push the inflation the upward or the downward trend is still there. The unavailability of petroleum products to Nigerians, the cost of buying them. In fact, on a daily basis, you continue to see average prices ranging from 200 to 220 to 240. So these are all about the cost input of production. So that's why inflation rate continues to. It's also about the logistic cost, because most of these agricultural products, the haulage or those in logistic companies are still buying diesel above 750 or thereabouts. So these are all input in the cost of production. So you expect the inflation figures to continue to go high. And you also have these issues surrounding the implementation of the budget. It's also an inflationary factor. With these CBN uncertainties and inconsistency in government policy decision, which is making the economy or the economic ecosystem jittery, in the sense that people are apprehensive of what will go. So it's actually also making Nigerians or causing the inflationary factors. But most often, what causes our inflationary factors to go up is the supply push, the continuous scarcity of dollar for producers or manufacturers to buy those raw materials to be able to. So as long as you continue to have the scarcity of dollar and manufacturers buying it from the power market because you cannot find it from the CBN export and import window, that's why you continue to see these very inflationary factors continue to go. Not to talk about the issue of the insecurity where farmers cannot even go to the farmlands to harvest their crops. So these are piles and piles of issues that are rising the major rising cost of inflation in Nigeria. Until government tackles this fundamental issue, not with monetary policy redesigning or introduction or limit to cash withdrawal, these are not the very right policies to tackle inflation in Nigeria. Do it with the structural issues that has to do with the supply to the system, making scale of availability of the forest to those who actually need it, the manufacturer who actually need it, not them going to the parallel market buying above 740, 750. As we speak, the Central Bank of Nigeria unofficially or unannounced or technically have devalued Naira twice this year. CBN devalued Naira twice this year as we speak. And the
CBN would not want to agree with you on that.
Of course, that's a fact. As at January 1st, our exchange rate, official exchange rate, was 415 or 413, as captured in 2023 appropriation bill. As we speak, the 2023 appropriation bill is 435. At the CBN official market, which is the export and import window, dollar is selling at 451. It is breaking a new height. It within 444 and 448. Now it's 451. So unofficially, CBN have devalued Naira twice this year.
Steve, I want you, it has been postulated that this acceleration we are seeing in inflation is not as fast as was expected. Is the acceleration slowing down?
Most of the optics will tell you that Bureau of Statistics is not even sincere with the actual figures, in the sense that we should be expecting something higher than 22, 23 to 24%. But maybe they are managing, trying to favor the government in power, not to release.
But is it possible that the National Bureau of Statistics, they have parameters? And it's actually,
of course,
it's in the report, they have parameters they use to get these figures.
Basically, they look at the food index, most especially some food items, the basket of them, they take them and take average prices of this. These are the things they use. But if you're looking at it from the real cost, yes, I know for sure that inflation rate is not actually an absolute terms, in the sense that you want to buy a bottle of malt. You bought it last year at 100 naira, now it's selling at 200 naira. That means there is a 100% inflation on it. No, it's not an absolute in the sense. It's a basket of every other thing put together. One thing may be higher, 200% higher than others. Others may be still within the 2, 3, 4, 5% margin of inflation. So the point is, the Bureau of Statistics, let's continue to run with them. Just like I keep telling people, let's build the best narrative to support the Naira. Let's also build the best narrative to support the data coming from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. So as we speak, the official figure is 21.47%, higher than what it were in October, meaning that those inflationary factors that is pushing inflation up is still persisting. Like I talked about the scarcity of dollar. As we speak, in fact, even in the CBN official rate has gone up from somewhere around 440, 442 to 444. Now it's officially selling at 450 naira. This is official figure from the CBN against the budgetary, which is 435. That is, let's assume it's for 2023. But as we speak, in the 2022 budget, is officially at 415. So that's why I say technically, unannounced or unofficially, CBN have officially devalued Naira. If you move from 415 or 413 to somewhere around 435, then you went ahead again to 451. That is what you're officially selling to those who comes to you in the CBN export and import window. So these are the facts on ground. So those factors that will continue to drive this have our farmers returned to their farmlands? The answer is no.
I want to hold you on your thoughts there. Let's quickly listen to Nigerians reacting to the inflation report that was released by the NBS.
The inflation in the country have caused a lot of high in price in things. So I decided to cut costs of things that I do. And of course, now plantain, I can't even afford it in this day. Plantain, yam, those things. You know, initially I bought them in tubers, but now I buy them in few. You know, I cut costs of things that I eat. I could not afford things that I normally eat before.
At least before, I can enter motor here for 100 naira, but now it's 150. So as you see me now, I'm trying to make sure I will get to that point where I will get 100 naira. So that 50 naira from here now, I will use it and add. When I get Apo Bridge, I normally enter 150, but now from that Apo Bridge to Mechanic Village is 200 naira. So I will cut the 50 naira from here, trek the 50 naira to this joint. Then I will use that 50 naira and add it to that 50 naira to complete that 200 naira to Apo Mbuka, where I'm going to.
Inflation has turned a lot of Nigerians into further mathematicians, not just normal mathematics now. We have to do a lot of mathematics to ensure that they are able to meet up with their expenses. It's indeed not a good look, especially listening to that last respondent. I want you to speak on how this is affecting inventories of sellers, because then Nigerians are saying we are cutting costs. This means they are not buying as much as they used to buy.
Yes, of course. The inventories of most of these sellers continues to drop. It's only most of them that are quoted at the floor of Nigerian Stock Exchange. When you look at their inventories, you find that their inventories are dropping. The volumes of transactions are dropping, but rather the top and bottom lines are going up only because of the value, the price they've added. That's only why it is rising. So that's why we continue to disprove the Central Bank of Nigeria that is not a matter of cash in circulation. You could listen to that testimony. That testimony speaks volume of what Nigerians are passing through. It's not like Nigerians have excess cash with them to say, okay, withdraw all the volumes of money in circulation. That's why the prices of things. No, it's as a result of scarcity of these basic items that have driven the prices up. That is only what is causing our inflations to go up. It's not like there are excess cash within Nigerians. Nigerians' purchasing power index have on continual basis, statistics available there continues to drop. The average man that earns 30,000 naira as minimum wage, it has not increased. The 30,000 naira have not turned to 60,000 naira. Rather, it still remains the 30,000, but the value of the 30,000 have dropped against the commodities and basic items he needs to buy to take care of his family. These are facts.
Yes. I want you to speak to, now we're looking at policies now and how they affect inflation, because central bankers are trying to rein in inflation, not just in Nigeria, but across the world. Now we saw the policy of the Naira redesign and also the policy of the cash withdrawal limits. And in my own investigation, even amongst my colleagues, when we have conversations from people they speak to, people are trying to buy lands, buy properties. Do you think perhaps that is going to also affect this issue of inflation that we are discussing?
Not at all, somehow. But yes, if you have such kind of idle funds that are looking, or corrupt money that are looking for where to find a safe haven, when you talked about people are trying to buy lands, buy properties where you cannot be able to trace it. Yes, those are the ones. They can. Someone can wake up and say, okay, land that is going for 100 million naira because he acquired the money illegally, he can go to buy 200 million or buy 150 million. These are fractional. These are fractional. It's just a minute of people. So we are looking about the largeness of the economy, not few individuals who have acquired illegal funds, stuck it somewhere or hoarded the cash. This cannot reflect, it cannot act to the overall inflation because it's just a marginal. Now, to talk of those who he sold those land or bought those land from, perhaps are they going to spend like he did? No. They are not going to say, okay, because I sold the land, I ought to have sold 100 and 150 million. I should just go and buy any car I like, or I should just go to the market. If a tuber of yam is going at 200 naira, buy it at 500 naira. Are you getting me? They're still coming to the same market to buy it at that very average price of tuber of yam. So it's not a question of the cash in circulation. It's a question of scarcity of these very commodities available to Nigerians.
So in 30 seconds, what are your projections? The Yuletide season is upon us. Festivities are ongoing. Like you have mentioned, a lot of people are cutting costs. They are counting their costs before actually spending monies. What are your projections for inflation going forward in 30 seconds?
Of course, Yuletide season is a normal season where you still have people to rush, unnecessary rush after commodities. So definitely December and January inflation figure is going to still go up, that trajectory up. So it's expected. So Nigerians will have to spend. These are the time Nigerians spend for the festive period. So December and January inflation figure is also expected to edge up to somewhere 22 or to 23%.
Okay, thank you so much, Steve Nwachukwu, economist. Thank you for always coming on the program to share your
Thanks for
thoughts with
having
us.
me.
And that's where we draw the curtains on the program today. Don't forget you can catch up on all our programs. Trust us to bring you trusted information on news making the round of polity and news in the world of business, finance, the stock market. We'll bring the news to you as they break on Trust Television. All you need to know, so just go on YouTube, click the subscribe button, go on Instagram, go on Facebook. We will get all the news you need to know about news in Nigeria and the global economy and the world at large. I am Christiana Amodu Otinya. Enjoy the rest of your day.